William and Catherine got handed a real instrument of authority. That is the shift we are seeing right now. Not a fashion headline or soft-focus lifestyle nod, but an official role. The Prince and Princess of Wales can now recognise businesses that supply their household with a royal warrant. Between you and me, if you have been watching this family for 30 years, you know exactly why that lands. This is how the monarchy speaks when it is not posing for photographs. It speaks through continuity, duty, and the quiet transfer of trust. A lot of people hear the term and think it means some polished celebrity endorsement. It absolutely does not. It is an official appointment tied to supplying goods or services to the royal household, and in many cases it allows the company to use the royal arms in branding. That is institutional recognition. It is old-fashioned in the best sense, because it is earned, not borrowed. By making William and Catherine official grantors beginning in spring 2026, the Crown is acting. Applications from non-warrant holders will open in May 2026. The King is not just handing them another ribbon-cutting duty. He is handing them a gate and a way to set standards. They can now choose which businesses are worthy of formal recognition in their official royal capacity. That means William and Catherine are now in a position to elevate some names and leave others off the list. That is real patronage and quiet power. What gives the whole business extra weight is Catherine's place inside it. She is the first Princess of Wales in 115 years to hold this power. Some sources even count it as 116 years. Either way, the timeline is the point here. This role has sat dormant for over a century for a Princess of Wales, and now it is being restored through Catherine. It feels like the monarchy reaching into its older habits and saying this woman belongs in the line of institutional continuity. We all watched Diana's story, and we know she was loved across the world. Diana had star power and public affection that changed the monarchy's image. But according to the list, Diana never received the authority to grant royal warrants. Sit with that fact for a moment. She was beloved, but not trusted with that specific function. Meghan did not receive anything comparable either, if we are being honest. That is the stark line between being adored by the cameras and being institutionally trusted. Plenty of people can pull a crowd or get headlines, but the monarchy measures something else entirely when it gets serious: steadiness, discretion, and endurance. Catherine is not being treated as a placeholder or a decorative princess. She is being treated as someone whose discretion has earned true trust. We live in a time when every brand wants influence by association. A royal warrant pushes the other way. It is about service to a household over time, about supplying, not performing. Catherine has spent years building her case patiently. That poor woman kept showing quiet strength instead of turning brittle or thirsty for attention. She kept showing she understood the difference between fame and duty. She is a mother first, but also a future queen, learning the mechanics of a very old institution. While others try to sell a vibe, William and Catherine are being given the ability to recognize service formally. The palace knows who is safe to carry standards. Safe is a precious word in this context. You only hand this power to the kind of person you trust with something fragile and older than themselves. Charles and Camilla have already used this authority at scale, with reports saying nearly 600 warrants have been granted since Charles became king. Now the system has expanded to include the next generation in real time. William and Catherine are answering critics with a system that lifts businesses and highlights skill. That is action, not just a speech. It connects the crown to everyday economic life. The commercial side of this is where the story gets even richer. Royal warrants improve consumer perception of a brand's reputation. Brand finance says it can even raise willingness to pay more in some sectors. We have all seen what happens when Catherine wears a coat and it sells out. People call it the Kate effect. The shop gets traffic, and fashion pages chatter endlessly. But a warrant takes the story beyond that day's wardrobe conversation. It gives the brand a longer life inside the Royal Association. It means the company has been recognized by the household itself. That is the difference between a quick spark and a lasting ember. For years, designers like Catherine Walker, Jenny Packham, and Erdem have benefited from her choices. Those names keep surfacing because they sit close to her public identity. Their work helped build the image of a future queen who is elegant without strain. Now, Catherine is moving from an admired wearer to a formal arbiter. A royal warrant would turn her from a powerful customer into a formal judge. Outlets like Cosmopolitan and Marie Claire see this as a major step. The New York Post explained that a warrant tells customers a company has been trusted consistently. News reported they now help decide which British businesses receive that stamp. InStyle says she has been trusted with a real constitutional-style honor inside the royal brand. Let us look at the timing mentioned again. Spring 2026 for the role to begin, with applications from non-warrant holders opening in May 2026. That specificity tells you this is scheduled, structured, and ready to be operationalized. When things are real in royal institutions, there is a timetable and a process. It is moving from a symbolic announcement right into administrative reality. Businesses can actually prepare. The Wales household can begin shaping its sphere of recognized suppliers with real consequences. Once that starts, people will read every single grant as a clue. Which sectors will get favored by the couple? Which types of craftsmanship will matter most? Each decision will say something about the household's identity in a practical form. That is exactly how old institutions reveal themselves to the public. They do it through selections rather than loud declarations. A royal household must eat, dress, furnish, repair, maintain, and host. They do all of that under heavy public scrutiny and historical weight. A warrant system turns ordinary supply into a public sign of trusted service. It lifts the purely practical right into the symbolic realm. Now William and Catherine get to manage a portion of that symbolic field. They are inheriting the right to reward those who help sustain the household. As any mother would see, the pair are being treated less like bright young representatives and more like household heads in training. They are being trusted with true stewardship. Stewardship is about care, continuity, and taking responsibility. In the case of monarchy, the effect is the slow shaping of the next royal center. People hear a kind of validation in that technical appointment, a kind of finally. Finally, we see another clear sign that William and Catherine are decision makers. The monarchy clearly knows where its stable center lies today. Grace and duty still earn real authority in that family. The institution keeps handing them more of the keys. Supplier relationships are domestic in a much deeper sense than public charity. They touch what surrounds daily life and routine. So when William and Catherine gain authority there, the signal is almost intimate. The institution is saying their household has matured properly, and their own judgments on service and supply can now carry official standing. That is, a household becoming more legible as a center of authority. The warrant is valuable simply because it is not handed out like confetti. It suggests established service and carries the strict aura of scrutiny. That is what customers buy into when they respond to it in shops. They sense that a company met high standards over a long time. The monarchy survives by renewing the practical forms of relevance available to it, and royal warrants are a perfect example. They connect the crown to everyday economic life without turning it into crude salesmanship. William and Catherine, stepping into that lane, says the institution wants the future attached to selection, endorsement through service, and careful distribution of status. That is a sophisticated kind of modernization because it extends the old form. They now hold a constitutional-style cultural lever inside the monarchy's old system. It is a lever over prestige and over public association. They control which businesses can say they serve the Wales household formally. Charles handed William and Catherine real royal power with this decision. It touches the machinery of the monarchy in a profound way. It tells companies, courtiers, and the public who is trusted by the crown. This is how a monarchy tells you who matters before it ever speaks. Handing that authority to the Prince and Princess of Wales shows immense trust. Charles trusts them to represent royal standards in public and in commerce. It is institutional trust given visible form for the public to see. This is Charles putting public weight behind them as working royals meant to exercise judgment, not just wear rank. I want to go back to that timeline because it matters. Over 100 years without a Princess of Wales holding this role. That lands hard with women who have watched royal stories through the Diana years, the late Queen's long discipline, the chaos around Andrew, and all the recent noise. Catherine is being treated as someone whose discretion has truly earned trust. Trust from the crown is something else entirely from cheap publicity. You do not hand that over unless you believe the person understands restraint. The king is allowing them to make judgments that can boost a company's reputation and sales. A warrant has value only if the endorsement remains selective and highly credible. That is why this is such a strong vote of confidence from Charles. He is saying their taste and discipline can protect the crown's own authority. The material frames this as succession planning, and that rings deeply true. He is shifting symbolic authority to the next generation while he is still king. That helps normalize William and Catherine as future monarchs in daily practice. You make the public live with the transition in smaller forms first. You hand over functions and build the habit of authority. The monarchy does not hand formal influence to someone it sees as ornamental. The system still depends on hierarchy, reputation, and immense caution. This move cuts through a lot of old nonsense and chatter at once. It says Catherine is trusted and immensely useful to the institution. She is part of how the crown intends to govern its image and standards. The public sees a woman being placed in a channel of direct power, linking her directly to standards in public and in commerce. Because Catherine spent years building a reputation for being dignified, the move feels earned. Charles is treating William and Catherine as a united unit with real purpose inside the machine. Monarchy lives by visible stability and the public understanding who carries responsibility. William brings the direct line as Diana's son and the future king. Catherine brings that proper steadiness and proven ability to carry enormous attention well. Together, they lower the temperature around succession by making the next stage feel trustworthy. Fewer public figures know how to carry trust without turning performative or needy. Catherine got here by understanding that service, discretion, and consistency are essential for survival. We told you she was raised right and had the discipline for it. The machine is telling the perceptive observer that you read her correctly. The Wales's judgments will not stay hidden in palace corridors. They spill outward and affect the market. An official royal endorsement still carries enormous social and economic value today. Handing that channel to William and Catherine means Charles believes they protect the crown. One disciplined couple can turn it into a visible sign that standards still exist. What the monarchy is guarding here is not only commerce, but pure credibility. The warrant system works only because it appears highly selective and careful. Charles is handing over the heavy burden of discernment to his heirs. Older viewers understand the difference between being popular and being sound. Sound is what you want, holding the family silver when the room gets noisy. Catherine has spent years building that exact lane as a working royal. The culture kept rewarding the flashy, but Catherine's quieter style proved stronger. A Princess of Wales holding this role restores a kind of proper shape and gives her a public function that looks inherited. The audience for this kind of story really wants order, not just glamour. They want proof that the careful ones are being moved into place. The monarchy is not sleepwalking. It is assigning responsibility with clear intention. This handoff protects the future line by training the public to see authority resting with William and Catherine in measured, highly credible forms. The palace itself knows she is a woman, born to duty by temperament. The monarchy is restoring a meaningful function right through her name. Mainstream outlets are reporting this as a new royal power from the king. The crown knows who is safe to connect public life, commerce, and monarchy. Safe means the kind of person you trust with something older than themselves. William and Catherine understand the difference between serving the institution and using it. There is profound relief in seeing duty rewarded with duty. People see a future queen receive formal responsibility instead of just admiration. Royal warrants carry real weight because they can affect reputation, sales, and standing. Catherine was handed a role that changes status, not a smile for the camera title. The king is prepared to trust her judgment with the monarchy's own name. This stops sounding like admiration and starts sounding like solid institutional fact. InStyle says she has been trusted with a real constitutional style honor. It is about letting her help shape which businesses receive the crown's seal. The monarchy is saying they trust this woman to carry their reputation forward. Charles has given William and Catherine a formal crown-linked power. The transition is moving forward. Some honors sparkle for a day, but the meaningful ones tell you who the crown is preparing to trust for years. Catherine earned her place in the frame that decides what the picture means.